Listen, it's true. We're all trying to eat better. But healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring! Because Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 net grams of carbs, and only 140 calories a serving. Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. You can build your own box from their 9 available flavors. The hits: cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, maple waffle, blueberry muffin, cinnamon roll, and honey nut. That's a given. Even more exciting? Magic Spoon just brought back their cereal bars. They were so popular that they brought them back permanently. It's the perfectly convenient, on-the-go companion for your cereal. That's the Magic Spoon way, isn't it? Get a little taste of that limited edition goodness before they bring it back for real. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for bringing it back for real. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, Magic Spoon's gonna refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks. Use the code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this classic episode of No Dunks.
So there's a movie that I would like to pitch you. Oh boy, here we go. It's a love story. I reluctantly say this, but go on. About 2 people from different parts of town. That sounds pretty cute, actually. Oh, and he's super emo and has scissors for hands. There it is.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. This is The Drop, and it's Friday, June 10th. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the yard, and alongside me, thanks to the power of technology, we got Tess Mellis.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Tess? Joining us from Boston, a beautiful hotel room. Top Shot Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey.
Also in Boston, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And filling in for JD, it's OKC superfan Andrew Schlecht. What's up, Andrew?
One more time in the yard, boys.
One more time. This is already your second podcast of the day, you said, before we went live here.
That's true. We did an episode of Down to Dunk early this morning.
Oh my God. At like
Sicko
6 a.m. He tasked Andrew and the Down to Dunk crew. They go live every Friday for the last 11 years at 6 a.m. in the morning.
That's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
It's the only time that works for the boys.
Respect. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Got my stream team shirt on here today. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. If you want No Dunks gear, like this stream team shirt, go to nodunks.com. Send in your questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. We're always looking for those. We're actually going to hit the beach a little bit later in today's Drop podcast. And if you need something else this afternoon while you're getting ready for Game 4 tonight, I highly suggest you fire up yesterday's Poppin' Packs with special guest John Schumann, who looks confused, maybe downright angry with Lee Ellis and his shades there. But Poppin' Packs yesterday afternoon, and Lee having a blast with Schumann there, right?
Yeah, Schum's always great. He always likes to play that sort of villain/heel role when he comes on one of our shows, and played it perfectly there yesterday. So a lot of fun to see the old Schums and pop some packs. He was great.
I saw somebody in the YouTube comments compared John Schumann's relationship to us to that of Zach Morris and AC Slater. They're friends, but they're also a little bit rivals, and they got to keep each other in check. I guess that makes us the preppies.
Oh, I like that. Did you drop a Newman-like Schumann when you saw him, Lee? I never got that update yet.
Every single time I see him. Hello, Schumann.
It's so good. So good. All right. Well, check out Poppin' Packs. What was that, like 25 minutes of fun there? Lee testing Schumann's knowledge when it comes to old basketball players. And then I think you did at the end pop some contemporary packs. Did you not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Schooms actually was a little disappointed with his own performance there yesterday. Thought he had a few mind blanks there for a while. So I thought, all right, I'll give him a little easy one, a bit of a treat here to close out the show. And he did much better then.
Okay, good. He got Luke Kennard, did he?
Well, just.
No.
It took him a while to get Luke Kennard, but we got there at the end.
Spoiler alert. Apologies for that. Okay. So let's get into the drop here. Like I said, we'll hit the beach later. We got tweet of the night. We got rapid fire fun, but we're talking finals. Game 4 tonight. The guys are still in Boston. They'll be in attendance down at the TD Garden. But I got some big questions for you guys. And Tass, I want you to get us started. And look, I mean, this might sound like a simple question, but I think you could go a number of different ways with it. What is the biggest reason you think that the Celtics are up 2-1 in the finals, Tass?
Well, the biggest reason is they're getting offensive production from more of their guys. And the reason that's happening is because Tatum isn't hogging the ball. Tatum had 13 assists and 9 assists in the wins. And I think because they're winning, it's kind of flying under the radar that Jason Tatum's not having a good series shooting the ball. He's at 34% for the series. That ain't good. And even if you factor in his three-point shooting, his true shooting percentage is only 48%. But because he's distributing and not taking all the shots himself, like he did last year against the Brooklyn Nets, if you remember, 5-game series, he shot more, scored more, but he's grown and his team is more dangerous now as Jaylen Brown didn't play in that series. And he's getting everyone in the rotation involved. There's 5 guys scoring between 13 and 23 points. That's way more than the Warriors are getting. They're just getting it from a bunch of different guys. Jaylen Brown's their leading scorer, their steadiest scorer. And that's sort of a sign of a great team these days where your weakest link has to be extremely strong. And right now they're going 7 deep and they're playing really, really well. While the Warriors are kind of top heavy. And it's Steph Curry and guys who haven't produced enough. And I know they're comparing themselves right now to their 2015 finals team where they were down 2-1 to the Cavs and they're saying to themselves, all right, we can do this. And that's totally possible. They can come out and win tonight and get production from a few guys. But right now they kind of resemble that Cavs team. I know it's a bit of a dirty connection to make, but if you remember that Cavs team, because Kyrie and Kevin Love went out, it was LeBron and Timofey Mozgov and Matthew Dellavedova and Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert, and they could barely play 6 guys. But right now, it's like Curry is LeBron producing, and they're not getting enough from the rest of the team. While Clay got going in Game 3, and they could easily turn this thing around in Game 4. But right now, it's just because the Celtics are getting way more production up and down their roster.
Oh, it's the Celtics going with strength in numbers, just stealing it from the Warriors here in this series. I agree with that. It's a great take. What would you go with, Trey? Same thing, something else? Why are they up 2-1?
Well, the Celtics have definitely been a steadier team, I do think, in this series so far, and they're getting more consistent production from the top to the bottom of their rotation. My go-to stat coming into the finals was just pay attention to the field goal attempts. After 3 games, the Celtics have a 2 field goal attempt lead, and I think that's actually kind of indicative of what's been going on in the series. They've done a pretty great job of taking care of the ball. I think only 12 turnovers in Game 3 forced the Warriors into 16. And I would imagine that a bunch of those Celtics turnovers came during the second and third quarter where they were kind of getting a little bit away from what was working the best. But they've done a pretty good job of staying in control. And they've done a really good job of limiting Looney on the offensive glass, of limiting Draymond's impact on the offensive glass. Wiggins hasn't had a huge rebounding game yet in this series. So the Celtics are doing a good job of keeping their own possessions and then ending the Warriors' possessions when it actually comes down to it, rather than, getting beat on the glass the way that the Warriors were able to do to the Grizzlies, then eventually to the Mavericks. They've been able to keep the math in their favor to the point where even if the Warriors are getting great shooting performances from Steph and Clay, they're able to counteract it by getting points inside, by getting paint points, by scoring 2-point field goals, I think has been good. So the Celtics have done a really good job of playing maybe their tightest series yet, like their most together and consistent and just well thought out series. They had a different game plan in game 3. Obviously, they knew where the help was going to be coming from and how to attack that from the Warriors. So I think they've done a really good job of probably playing their smartest series yet to date, their most consistent series, even though we've seen some weird quarter to quarter fluctuations, no doubt, in these games. Over the course of 3 whole games, it feels like the Celtics have been able to be the more consistent team, and that's bearing out in the hustle points and the little tiny extra possessions here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything to add, Lee? What's the biggest reason why Boston's up 2-1?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of both what Tass and Trey are saying there. I think overall the Celtics, I mean, you go back, game 1 feels like it was a year ago, it was a week ago when Al Horford had the 6 threes. You know, Marcus Smart has been great. Jaylen Brown's had obviously his great moments, and Tatum, without having to necessarily dominate in a way where he has to go out there and get 35, 40 points, I think he's just been really, really steady for his team, being the best player on that team, being a leader, and, you know, really just being there. Even if his shot's not falling, he's been contributing in so many other ways. And I also think, and again, I noticed this more probably just being in person there for game 3, when that Warriors starting lineup, outside of course, Steph and Clay hadn't been shooting the ball all that well to this point, that ball on offense, it's like Looney standing around waiting for the scraps. Draymond doesn't want to shoot it. So Steph, it's like, all right, I have to do everything here. And the Celtics are just so ready for that. Now, Steph's still been very good. You're not going to ever shut him down completely, but he's having to work so incredibly hard on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, he's been in foul trouble. He's in foul trouble there in game 3. And the Celtics, I think, have been trying to take full advantage of that by knowing that, you know, his defense is overrated in the sense that people are saying he's a terrible defender. He's not a terrible defender, Steph, but certainly on that lineup, he's the one that teams try to target a little bit more than other players. And that's what the Celtics did. Added to that, when he did have the foul trouble there, Marcus Smart, Tatum, all of those guys went in. The stat there from Kurt Goldsberry, the Celtics were 10 for 14 when Steph was the primary defender. So Ime Udoka, I think, has done a fantastic job here in trying to just exploit matchups, and then on the defensive end, make guys like Steph and Clay just work so hard for their points, because they can live with the other guys trying to beat them, because they simply don't have that offensive punch or that extra sort of step that they can go to, which is funny with the Warriors. We know from this entire run here over the last 7 or 8 years, it always feels like they can just get out and transition and run and rain 3-pointers, but it hasn't really been the case in this series so far. So the Celtics have just done a much better job. They're the team, to me, honestly, through 3 games, who have looked more experienced than the Golden State Warriors, which is a shocking thing to sort of think going into this series. Certainly, I thought the Warriors' historical experience would have really come into play, but so far I haven't seen that.
We'll get to talking about like potential Warriors adjustments, what Kerr might do differently here in game 4. We'll do that in a second. I am curious, though. I don't think I've asked you this yet, especially after the game 3 win. Trey or Lee, I mean, I'll start with you, Trey. Like, what is the vibe in the city right now? Or like, are the Beantown boys and Celtics fans like pretty confident that they're on their way to winning their 18th title here? Or are they, still a little reserved because it is the Warriors? Like, what is the feeling, I guess, in the city right now?
People are pretty excited with the way game 3 went, that the Celtics came out and really, they looked great in the fourth quarter, particularly after the Warriors had that big third to immediately bounce back at the start of the fourth quarter, 3 straight turnovers from Curry. And the game was almost over by the 9-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And it looked like it was going to be a super competitive game. Confident, I would say. They've got another home game tonight, a crucial game 4, a must win for the Warriors, definitely. And it'll be interesting to see if the Celtics are able to withstand a Warriors team that's going to certainly bounce back tonight. You're going to get your best Draymond Green since at least game 2. He'll probably play pretty similarly to game 2, bringing the edge and, maybe going a little bit over the limit at times. But I think the Celtics are feeling pretty good. Getting the game 3 win puts you ahead statistically. You're getting your 80% win rate or whatever it may be. So they got to be feeling pretty good, especially knowing they're going to come back and at least have a game 6 here should the series continue to be extended. But, you could argue that the Celtics haven't even played incredibly well in all these games. Like Tass is saying, Tatum has been a great playmaker. He has not been a super efficient scorer yet. There's still a big game coming out there. Then you look at what the Warriors did in game 3. Big games from Steph and Clay, and they still took the loss. So it feels like the Warriors have fewer adjustments to make just because they have a fewer number of players you can come into. So Celtics fans should be feeling pretty good with the way things have gone so far.
Lee, you're a man of the people. Are the people pumped?
People are pumped. Yes, they definitely are. They're enjoying their time right now because they've got that. Hey, no one believed in this sort of slogan as well here. Like, we just had to do it us against the world. But they're in a really good position. And yeah, I mean, everyone was in a party mood. Everyone was pretty excited. And then to go out there and get the convincing win in Game 3, I think they're going to be pretty excited tonight. They're going to be turned. I think tonight for Game 4. But again, the Warriors. It's impossible to sort of think that this series is over because you just know that Golden State has got another punch here. They've been there before. They've been down in the finals, so they do know that they can still come out and come back in this one
for sure. All right, let's get to the next question. It's one you're seeing everywhere. It's always fun to talk about. Finals MVP favorite. Trey, you get us started. Who is the front runner right now in this series?
That's a tough call, Skeets. We've been doing the Russell Watch, the Brownlow medal reveal for our votes after every one of these games on the Instant Reacts pods. And when we were breaking down the math of it after Game 3, we've got Curry with 4 votes, Tatum with 4 votes, Jaylen Brown with 3, Horford for 3 after the huge Game 1, Jordan Poole with 2, and Marcus Smart with 2 as well, picking up a couple of votes there. That bears out pretty well with what the betting odds look like over at BetMGM. I think we've got Jason Tatum as the slight favorite over Steph Curry, which makes sense since the Celtics are in the lead in the series right now. I don't know. I think would have Brown over Tatum in the Celtics voting. If the Celtics go on to take the series right now, I think Brown is a little bit ahead. He's had a kind of interesting series, having some massive first quarters and then, a lesser production through the final 3, but still putting up 24 a game, leading the Celtics in score, 23 a game, leading the Celtics in scoring right now, has been great defensively as well. His percentages have been a little bit better than Tatum, but Tatum is seeing, the number 1 defender. Tatum is seeing the schemed against him, and he's doing a great job of getting off the ball, like Tass said, and being a playmaker for his team. So I don't know. I mean, Curry's the guy if the Warriors come back and win it, no doubt about it. I would say lock that in. But you can definitely see, I think there are 7 voters, right, for NBA Finals MVP. Imagine this. Imagine the Celtics win. Curry gets a vote because maybe he's been the best player in the series.
Wow.
Similar to a LeBron vote back in 2015. And then the other 6 votes, what if those split between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Can you split the Finals MVP? They've both been the best player during the Celtics wins during different quarters. Tatum really brought him home down the stretch in Game 3. Brown was massive at the start of Game 3 to get the huge lead for the Celtics. So I don't know if they would allow that, a split decision there, but it feels like those 2 Beantown boys would earn it. That's why you have 2 incredible stars like that to pick up the slack for each other.
Tass, what do you think? How would you rank them right now? We showed you the odds there. It is Tatum incredibly. I actually think a little bit. I agree with Trey. Significantly more favored to win right now than Brown. It's very close in my eyes. But where would you go?
Well, I like betting odds. Nobody wants to bet on the favorite. That's no fun, really. So yeah, Tatum. I guess he's in the driver's seat. The fact that he's got worse stats, except for assists, really, than Jaylen Brown, but. He is the leader in terms of odds. It's no fun to bet for the favorite though. So I think you bet on Curry, and for odds purposes, you take Jaylen Brown as well. You got to do it, and then let's say you put 100 on Steph Curry, you win $200. It's plus 200. You put 100 on Jaylen Brown, you win $300 right there. So you're hedging yourself. I think you hedge yourself. You go Steph and Jaylen Brown, because it's no fun to bet on the plus 115 Jason Tatum. But I guess like Trey is saying, when it comes down to the 9 voters, I think it is 9 votes, sitting those guys. Yeah, but it could easily be, somebody goes Steph on the losing team. It's bound to happen. Maybe have like one person, and then it could easily
hold
be
on.
split.
Nobody's voting Steph for Finals MVP unless it's like a 7-game series, I think, right? Like if the Celtics win in 5 or 6, series. I think that's a bit of a stretch to give it even to Curry, despite being maybe the best player. It's got to be a really tight series, wouldn't it?
11 voters, it turns out.
Geez. From 7
by
to
the time
9
we
to
get
11.
done with this podcast, it'll be 51 voters, but it's always an odd number, so it can still happen.
But is Hubie one of the voters of this year? Do we know? Because that means it's going to be Al Horford or someone who gets his vote.
Yeah.
So
Marcus Smart or something.
Yeah, exactly. So Tatum or Brown won't get then the 4 or the 5 remaining votes. One of them's going to that role play. Maybe even a Robert Williams might get a vote there from Hubie. So, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I think if the Celtics do win this in 5 or 6 games here, both guys have a very, very strong case, and maybe it just comes down to who plays better in the closeout game. It could be something as simple as that. I think they've both been fantastic. I think Jaylen Brown probably has had a few more highlight plays as far as the big dunks and blocks and things like that. But I think Tatum, as far as overall, I talked a lot about it yesterday. I just think he still has shown a lot of leadership out there and really been good, even though his shot isn't falling. So, I think that maybe is why he's still in this box seat here, because it's like, well, he's the All NBA guy on the team there, so he should be the favorite to win it. But be pretty interesting to see how it does play out, especially considering how many games we go. Could Steph? I mean, he couldn't win it in less than 7 anyway, could he? If they don't win,
no way.
Yeah. So.
I don't think so.
It could. But that's the thing, that it's only him who could win it for the Warriors, whereas the Celtics do have 2 strong guys, and well, that's all. It's going to be one of those 3 anyway. So.
Yeah, and the reason I think Jason Tatum is in the box seat as well is because the Warriors are putting their best defender on him in Andrew Wiggins, and Jaylen Brown's getting a softer defender a lot of the time with Klay Thompson, and that could be an adjustment tonight where we see Draymond Green 100% of the time on Jaylen Brown, but Andrew Wiggins is doing a good job on Jason Tatum. It's less than 31% that he's allowing Jason Tatum to shoot. So it's a bit of a, hey, you get our best defender, and Tatum is the best player on that team. So it's kind of like we'll give it to him, even though Jaylen Brown has been great. But there is the factor that Tatum's the closer and Jaylen Brown's the opener. I
also think, like Trey was alluding to, Vegas is assuming Tatum could have a huge still monster game in him here. Wiggins or not on him. We've seen it before in the playoffs from this guy, despite being so young. There could be easily a 40-point game in him, which would then vault him up as a favorite, or at least they still have him as a favorite. NBA.com, their list, they're doing like their ladder every day. NBA.com leaning into the finals MVP discussion after 3 games. They have Jaylen Brown, number 1, Steph Curry, number 2, Tatum, 3rd. And then they have Klay Thompson, 4th, and Marcus Smart, 5th. And I guess, Lee, at a certain point, it's like, who cares who's 3 and 4? Or sorry, 4 and 5, I should say, in their ladder. But I think even that's a reach. I think it's Curry, and then I think it's 4 other Celtics before any other Warriors player.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Klay's had 1 good game and a loss. So that's the only reason he's a name. Obviously, Draymond has been stinking it up as well, so there's no chance of him winning it. Look, if they rattle off 3 straight wins and he's awesome, you could steal it. But this is going to be Steph's if the Warriors manage to come back and pull it off.
All right, next question here, because we talk a lot about Finals MVP. Let's flip it on its head. Tass, what's a Finals storyline that's being overlooked in your opinion?
Here's a bit of a cute stat for you. It doesn't really mean much,
stat.
But the Warriors' Andre Iguodala has now played in 7 finals, which is 1 more than Klay, Dre, and Steph, because he snuck one in with the Heat in the bubble. And that's the most of anyone in NBA history that didn't play for the Lakers or the Celtics.
Wow.
Super cute stat.
It's a cute stat.
It doesn't really
mean
cute,
a lot. Steve over there?
Because it's like LeBron had 8 straight finals with the Cavs, but then went to go play with the Lakers. So you just had to suit up, Robert Horry, Laker. That's just a nice little stat there for you. Anyways, it's an Andre Iguodala Hall of Fame resume builder right there. I mean, it's just a stat from StatMuse, which I thought was an interesting one. Then people got into, what about James Jones? He just played for the Cavs and went to the finals, but he didn't play in all those finals. He was a bystander, I think, and that may have been it. But I wasn't going into those box scores. Anyways, I think just sort of a really a bigger overarching, hey, what's being overlooked is at the end of this, I think what's going to be the headline on your NBA sports shows if the Warriors lose is are the Warriors too old? Like, can the Warriors get a second guy? Because I think what I mentioned about the 2015 Cavs and Steph and everybody else, LeBron and everybody else, we think of them having so many weapons, but right now it just ain't happening. They need Clay or Poole to step up, and the Warriors offseason will be interesting. I think they'll probably just do it within who cares about what the sports shows say. They're going to try and do it with Kuminga or Moses Moody or James Wiseman, who's a number 2 pick that's sitting there that hasn't played yet. They're probably going to do it better within or from within. But I think that'll be sort of the overarching, these Warriors are done type of headline. They need, first of all, they need better defense. They won game 2 by playing great defense, and Clay and Poole not being monsters. That is the thing that's going to help them win. But Clay is, as we saw in game 3, feeling better and could help on the offensive end here going forward. And he's determined. He says he's going to help. He said, quote, "We just need to help Steph in general. He's been incredible in this series. I think we'll come correct in game 4. So we'll see if the Warriors come correct tonight.
We'll see. Lee, same question. Overlooked final storyline. And is it possibly that Draymond Green is podcasting during the NBA Finals?
Well, that's maybe the most talked about storyline, certainly, because Draymond has been potting post game, but there was a tweet going around there from Sam Efstrandani, I believe I pronounced that right, saying, look, Michael Jordan went gambling. Dennis Rodman went to Vegas during the finals. Remember, he turned up to practice in his pajamas one day. We saw that on the last
wrestling during the finals.
Yeah. So, I mean, Draymond's there, and he's getting his podcasting in. So it's not really anything bad. I mean, but the thing is, when you are losing, it's such an easy target then to say, look, you're concentrating on your podcast rather than your NBA game. So that is certainly a big storyline. But Draymond's also, I think, the sort of guy who's like, listen, I'm not stopping that just because everyone's saying that. He knows he hasn't been playing well. He's acknowledged that. He said, I played like shit in the press conference there, sitting next to his son, I think it was there after game 3. So it's not really an overlooked storyline, but it's a major storyline that Draymond hasn't really had any significant impact, and his inability to shoot the ball is really starting to hurt his team, because the Celtics are just not afraid at all of him shooting, and he's can't get anything going from the 3-point line or the free throw line. He's 5 for 10 from there, so he's not really impacting the game on the offensive end at all, because, as we talked about a lot, the Celtics are kind of ready for they're looking for Steph or Clay to shoot the ball, and so they're like, all right, we're just going to have our defensive focus on those guys, and that's standing out. I think another thing is, remember coming into this series, we weren't sure about the health of like Robert Williams. Marcus Smart seemed injured. Jason Tatum's been carrying his shoulder almost like the first possession of the game.
He's always grabbed at it. Yeah.
But really, that hasn't been a factor. And Robert Williams, I mean, I'm not sure. He always seems to be sort of a day-to-day kind of guy, but when he's been out on the court, I think he's been very, very effective. He's averaging 3.5 blocks a game so far. Well, he's had 10 in the 3 games there. He's had some steals, and it just feels like him being there has really closed the paint for the Warriors. Every single time anyone drives in there, he's competing, he's contesting, he's getting his arms up, blocking shots, deflecting shots, or certainly deterring guys from shooting. So he's had a pretty significant impact, even though, he only played 14 minutes there in the loss in game 2, but in the wins, 24 minutes, 26 minutes, and he's at 8 blocks and 16 rebounds in those 2 games. So he's been very, very good for a guy who we're not sure if we're ever going to, if he's going to be able to play in any of these games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge part of this finals, I think, too. We get obviously caught up in the superstars in like Brown and Tatum and Curry, but the Celtics, Trey, have had the 3 best big men in this series. Like easily, I would say, in Robert Williams, Horford with that monster game 1. He's been pretty solid for the rest of it. And then even Grant Williams is like turning it on. And it just really says like how bad Draymond and Looney have been for the Warriors.
Yeah, Looney hasn't had the impact that he had in the previous 2 series against Memphis and against Dallas. A lot of it is because the Warriors have had to play 2 big men against the Celtics for a long time, because that's their best defensive lineup, and Kerr loves to lean defense, but that really strangles your offense a little bit. So to me, it's maybe a little bit of an overlooked storyline because of the podcasting. Like, people want to focus on the podcasting. Literally, who cares? You can talk on a Twitch stream for half an hour after a game. Are people wanting Draymond? It'd be better if he goes out and parties. It's ridiculous stuff that people care. at all, in my opinion. They're focusing on that rather than the fact that he's not playing well. Like, he looks older than Klay Thompson does. And Klay was the guy we were worried about coming into this series, where you assume Draymond's going to be there captaining the defense for the Warriors and wreaking havoc. Like, it's pretty weird now to hear Tass saying that the Warriors put their best defender, Andrew Wiggins, on Jason Tatum. Draymond Green is a Hall of Fame defender. The guy's a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year, one of the all-time greats, and he's just not having the impact that you expect from Draymond Green. He did a little bit when they switched him on to Jaylen Brown in Game 2. Jaylen got really hot at the beginning of Game 2, hit 3 shots in the first 3 minutes of the game, and then kind of was turned off a little bit after there, was, maybe having a tough time adjusting to the defensive pressure Draymond was bringing, but then figured it out for Game 3 in time, and he was just dusting Draymond off the dribble. So maybe I remember during last season, during the season when Steph missed a whole bunch of time, people were saying, has Draymond fallen off a little bit here? But then obviously Steph came back. He got in a little bit better shape. He was re-engaged again, and it was back to the good Draymond Green. He has not looked like the good Draymond Green in the finals, and people are more concerned with if he's giving away secrets in his podcast than rather what he's actually doing on the court, which surely the Celtics care more about. I think they're trusting their eyes more than listening to Draymond's podcast.
Yeah. One funny thing that Draymond said on his podcast, which does make sense, the chants coming from the Celtics fans are, F you, Draymond, F you, Draymond. And he said, my name doesn't work for that chant. It has to be one syllable. Right. F you, Steph, F you, Klay. That works. But the Draymond, because it's 2 syllables, they should be changing to F you, Draymond. Right. That's what it should be. It was a good point. Good point on his podcast. That's why I tune in. But he did also say about his podcast on The Athletic, following everything that happened, Sam Amick went up to him and asked him, what about your podcasting? Why do you podcast? And he said, as a veteran podcaster would say, he said, it's more an obligation than a want. He said he built an audience, and now he has to fulfill his promise after every game. It reminds me of Andrew Schlecht doing Down to Dunk every Friday at 6 a.m. for 11 years, right? You built an audience, and maybe you don't want to do it every Friday, Andrew, but you do it, right? You just do it, just like us. We're there. Maybe we don't want to. Nah, we do. We do want to, but you got to fulfill your duties, and that's what he's doing. That was interesting. He's building a business. He called it a business. He's building a business. He's not just doing it just for screwing around.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's committed to the business. He's growing the brand. He said he's doing great numbers too on the podcast. So shout out to Draymond. And
but after every interview, during media availability, if somebody mentions the podcast, he says, "Hey, thank you for mentioning the podcast. I appreciate that. Helps the numbers."
Oh, well,
it's very, very kind.
I think an interesting take on this whole Draymond podcasting during the finals was from Kelly Dwyer. I saw this morning in his newsletter. And agreeing with Trey, he's like, I don't care if he goes and podcasts, and that's not really having any effect on how he's playing. It's not like he's like less dedicated to obviously playing well out on the court. But a fascinating angle is like you were bringing up the tweet there, Lee, about Jordan, gambling or playing golf, or Rodman doing his crazy antics. Those are not basketball related. And Dwyer is wondering, and again, this is just sort of like his theory. Like, I think he said, he wondered if Draymond Green has tendinitis of the takes because he's just like a little too in his head now. Like, you got this idea that maybe players need to forget a little bit or need to like take a step back and like let it go, let the game go, let the whatever just happened go. And like Draymond does the opposite. He like gets into his hotel room like you guys and then fires up a podcast and like dissects it and talks about it. It's like, wow, would it actually do him well to take a podcast off or two? I don't know. I think it's an interesting angle to it. I mean, or thought, I guess I had never really put some thought into, but yeah, tendinitis of the takes is a great line there.
That's a great line. It's a great. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it means, but it sounds great. So I'm gonna try to steal that and incorporate it at some point. But look, I think for Draymond, maybe it's some way therapeutic for him because he can then go there and speak freely and speak openly and say whatever the hell he wants to say. Because often in a press conference, especially after a loss in the playoffs, a lot of guys are a bit tense. They there's a little bit of tension there sometimes with the media, some of the questions they get asked. So maybe Draymond just likes the freedom it allows him to express himself.
He likes to talk.
He loves to talk, and so that's the thing.
Not
and
breaking news.
That's honestly why we should encourage him, because I think it's great content. Right. I think he's also like, listen, he wants to say things the way he wants to say. He knows he's going to get this sort of criticism, especially again, they're losing, he's playing badly, but he's out there still doing something else. And again, if he's out there getting drunk and falling out of nightclubs at 3 a.m. after a loss, imagine then what people would be saying about it. Instead, he's like, listen, man, I just got to go home, fire up the StreamYard, get off a few of my takes, and then I feel better. I mean, so honestly, we should encourage him. And this is not the reason the Warriors are losing or he's playing badly. I mean, it's there. It's like, great, we can hammer home that when you're playing badly, because that's such an easy option to take.
He could really benefit from having a good game 4 tonight, though. Yes, podcast or no podcast, he needs to be dominant, and he got a lot of the accolades after game 2, or at least setting the tone. I think we probably went a little overboard with how amazing he was in that game, but it sure would help them out if he could, facilitate and score and get back to being a defensive player of the year, at least shutting down 1 or 2 of the Celtics players attacking him, because he hasn't really been that great on that end either, like Trey said. So we'll see. Let's talk about game 4 tonight. You guys are going to be, I assume, same seats, or you're still up in the nosebleeds? You guys were on the court though yesterday. I saw Trey Kirby's
touched parquet yesterday. Yeah. Pretty exciting.
Feet on the floor. Look fun.
Yeah, it's wild to actually see the court and be like, wow, they weren't lying. There's gigantic bolts all over the place here.
Wow.
This thing looks like it was built 60 years ago. But they got a pretty nice ceiling as well there at the TD Garden. Lots of banners hanging, as it turns out.
Good. Yeah, you guys have been now down on the floor and up in the rafters. Did you shoot around, Lee, at all? Did you get a shot up? I didn't see any video of it.
Yeah,
you got told not to.
I didn't get told not to. I just sort of sensed. I read the room, and I thought it's probably best not to just start firing away here when there's a lot of cameras, a lot of media, a lot of NBA people there. But the thing is, it was so tempting because there was a whole rack of basketballs there, and I'm like, I mean, what do they expect to happen here? They put me on a basketball court with basketballs. Surely I'm allowed to get at least 1 or 2 up there, but unfortunately not. And then we were waiting for Warriors practice, and they said actually Warriors not practicing today. So I was like, so the court's free? I can get some shots up? Little joke there with the NBA people, and they're like, get off.
Well, way to show some restraint, Lee. I can't believe you didn't take at least one free throw out there on the park.
Get a dribble in. I was like, I just don't want to dribble. That ball makes a noise, and everyone's going to look around. What's that guy dribbling for? Like, I had to let it go.
It was the first time I'd ever seen Lee touch a basketball without dribbling it, or even doing like a.
Wow, you didn't even do that.
Shot. He did. He just touched it. He moved it around a little bit so that the Wilson would be facing the right way.
He took a photo.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, of course he took a photo. Yeah, come on. We got to see it again in 20 years from now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, anyway, the question was going to be, and we'll start with you, Lee, is what is something you're watching for in game 4 tonight? Is there a Warriors adjustment specifically? Someone else playing more minutes than they did in game 3 or in the series? What do you think?
I mean, that's a tough question there for Steve Kerr, because remember back to early in the playoffs, he had the PTSD lineup out there, but I simply don't think he goes with that one tonight. Which would mean inserting Jordan Poole into the starting lineup. The reason I don't think he goes for that is because I think it would just expose them on the defensive end. So I think he stays with Looney and Draymond and Clay and Andrew and Steph. And I think he just thinks, listen, we have to get someone else getting some points early on, whether or not that's Wiggins. Clay, again, as we've mentioned, got off to a better start there. But I think as well, Draymond, he does a lot of that sort of fake handoff. We've seen a couple of times where he does that and he runs in and scores. Maybe it's something as simple as that, just to create a different look, a different possession for the Warriors, that the Celtics go, actually, we might have to defend something differently tonight. But look, the big storyline coming into this series was the third quarter Warriors and how the Celtics would respond. Well, in the 3 games so far, the Celtics have been outscored by 43 points in those third quarters, but the good thing is for the Boston Celtics is in the fourth quarters, they've outscored the Warriors by 40 points. So they've been able to basically, rise to that challenge of like, okay, you guys have the third quarter, but we're going to have the fourth quarter. So what will happen in that sense tonight? Because game 3, it was much closer in that third quarter, but still the Warriors won it, even though, the Boston Celtics came back to win the game. But that's going to be interesting to see now if the Celtics can even get better in that third quarter and not give up a huge advantage here. And if they can do that, then they could find themselves in a very, very strong position. Also, another statistic, not all that cute. It's been out there a lot there, but the Celtics haven't been brilliant at home in the playoffs, and the Warriors always win on the road. So tonight, that's set up tonight for one of those things to happen, whether or not that stays true, that the Warriors win on the road, or if the Celtics say, okay, we are not losing at home this time, and we're going to go out there and try to really hammer home our advantage and take a 3-1 lead.
Yeah. So not a cute stat. That was just
It's
just
not that
ugly
cute,
stat, but I love it.
I got a handsome stat for you.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty handsome. 7 for 9. You know what that is?
No.
Otto
Warriors
Porter
on their phone.
from 3 in the
Wow.
finals. We should see more Otto Porter, I think. The Warriors have been pretty solid when he's on the court. He's shooting the ball well, and he's like their one in-between guy that I feel like Kerr is confident with playing. Like Kuminga would be a cool adjustment. It would be awesome to see him get some serious run in the finals, but it doesn't seem very likely in a crucial game 4 from the Warriors. But the Warriors have done pretty well when Otto Porter's been on the court. He was a part of that huge third quarter when they went to a lineup that was basically Steph, Wiggins, Looney or Draymond, one of the two, then Porter and Gary Payton. It's like their best defensive unit. Curry would just went pick and roll mode the entire time in the third quarter and really just lit up the Celtics. And that was almost when the Warriors offense looked the best. Also didn't look like the Warriors offense because you don't see that much pick and roll from Curry. They love the ball movement, but the Celtics switching has been kind of taking that away. And, you know, Clay outside of game 3 hasn't really been able to capitalize on it. Poole hasn't been able to capitalize on it, but wide open catch and shoots. Otto Porter's been knocking him down. If he's able to give you a little bit more than he's been playing, you know, basically 15 to 20 minutes a night, that could be a nice place where the Warriors see a little bit of a change. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they start him. The Warriors are pretty traditional with keeping their starting lineup the same, especially in this playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Porter get a lot more run and a lot more one big, one medium kind of lineups for Golden State.
Yeah, I could see that. What about you, Tass? What are you watching for?
Well, one adjustment from the production trucks, from the TVs, turn up the volume of the crowd, because it's not coming through on the television set that the Celtics fans are loud. IMO. Everybody in the arena, you guys included, are saying it could have been the loudest arena I've ever been in, but it's not coming through on the truck, you know, on the TV. So production trucks, let's get a little more volume. A little more volume. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. I didn't hear one chant coming through on the TV. I didn't hear enough. Just didn't hear enough. There needs to be more volume. That's all.
You're watching. Maybe it's because you're watching through League Pass there.
Oh no,
You're getting different volumes or something.
Yeah, maybe it is. We'll turn up the League Pass volume. Nobody watches TV anymore. Also, I think I wonder, to get Draymond going, do you start him on Jaylen Brown instead of waiting? It's a risk because he could get into foul trouble, because Jaylen's, you know, a much smaller guy, and part of the reason why Draymond, I think, hasn't made as big of an impact in this series is because he doesn't really have anyone to guard one-on-one. So I think that's a question. How big will the Warriors stay? I do think Otto Porter is a lock for them to play more, because he can board, and that's where they were getting killed in game 3. They have to rebound. I mean, they have to play better defense. They have to cut off lanes and rotate and not get destroyed on the offensive glass by the Celtics. Celtics, 15 offensive boards, but they were held decently in the first couple games with 7 and 6. So there's lots of adjustments to make. Rebound the frickin' ball, cut off the lanes, rotate, win some 50-50 balls, and Steph don't give the ball away as much. He had that 3-minute stretch in the fourth quarter where he was just having fun out there. It was old Steph tossing it from one sideline to the other in transition, and it was intercepted. He had 3 turnovers in 3 minutes. So yeah, those are some things I'm watching for. But how this team gets off, out of the gate, even though you win the first quarter, it doesn't really matter in this series. But I think Draymond's engagement level is pretty important in Q1.
Yeah, we'll see. These are fun questions for everybody in the stream team, watching, listening later. You know, your biggest reason why the Celtics are leading, your finals MVP favorites, overlooked storylines here, and what you're watching for tonight in game 4. We will have an immediate reaction podcast late on a Friday night. Got the Beantown boys checking in from TD Garden. So make sure you subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube and the podcast feed wherever you download and listen to No Dunks. We're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we're going to hit the beach, and we still have Tweet of the Night and Rapid Fire, so don't go anywhere.
Here are a list of my 5 favorite Macs. Number 5, Big Mac. Number 1, combo. That's all you need. Number 4, Mac Airs. That man can sing. Number 3, trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a Mac truck.
Mac truck. Very
Love,
big.
Yeah, love me a long hauler. Number 2, Craig. And number 1,
Yeah.
Mac Weldon. Mac Weldon makes all your basics for your wardrobe, but it is absolutely quality clothing. Their track pants are a nice slim fit that don't look like track pants. I feel like I'm J.E. Skeets around wearing my slims around town. You love your little slim track pants.
I mean, I'm slim, man. So
no, I know, but you
Love your
like your
slims.
slim track pants. That's your thing. That's
fit, track pants, yes.
fit. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Slim,
What do you
yeah.
call them? Slim? Sure.
Sure. It's your go-to. Anyway, a lot of companies say their clothes are multi-use. You can wear them business, pleasure. Take them to work, take them to the bar. But these ones are definitely that, because you have to have good quality stuff to be able to do that. A high standard to pull that off. And Mac Weldon does that. Same with their shorts. I've been wearing their Ace sweat short. What's the one you wear? The look up from your computer and tell me what you wear.
My shirts.
No, shorts.
My shorts. So
Mac Weldon, I'm talking about. The Tech Chino shirt.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Tech Chino short.
No,
That's the
mine's
one.
the Maverick, isn't it?
No. Anyways,
Well, it's
I've
the
been,
Maverick Tech Chino short.
there you go,
yeah,
Full name.
anyways,
No
I've been
gimmicks.
wearing my Mac Weldon swim trunks to the pool as well. Again, quality, not falling off.
How many shorts did
Fitting
you get?
right.
This is crazy.
2 of 2. I didn't get the Maverick Tech Chino short because they're too long. The name is too long. The short is fine. Anyways, check out their
length is good.
check out their board shorts and swim trunks. A combo of performance stretch and a slick design. They do it all. Get in the pool. Anyways, check out Mac Weldon for yourself and save 20% off your first order. Visit macweldon.com/nodunks and enter promo code nodunks. Again, macweldon.com/nodunks and enter promo code nodunks for 20% off. Stock up on the warm weather essentials you've been missing.
Any basketball fans at the table?
I like basketball.
There's one.
Sure.
Two.
Yep.
2 or 3, great. Because with Sling TV, you can get every playoff game for the best price, hands down. All for just $35 a month. You'll get all the upsets, the comebacks, buzzer beaters, oops, game 7s, foul outs, tip-offs, crossovers, tech fouls, ejections, dynasty, rivalries. You get and 1s, 3s, and if you're lucky, you get a triple-double or a VSP. Yeah, there's a lot to love about playoff basketball, and you can get it all with Sling for the best price. But there's still more to watch, so just because the season's over doesn't mean you're out for TV. Sling has all your favorite live sports news and popular TV shows on channels like ESPN, Tint, Tibus, ESPN, TNT, TBS, MSNBC, CNN, and more. Sling is easy to set up and easy to use. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with included DVR space. And one more time, did I mention you can watch every playoff basketball game for the best price with Sling? We might have 5 to go here, so you want to get in now. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you'll love for a price you'll love. Try us today, and you'll be slinging when you're winning.
All right, back here in the yard. Drop podcast on a Friday. If you're joining us live right now on YouTube, thank you. Hit that like button and subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube, because Trey and Lee have been killing it in Boston with the YouTube shorts. These fun little minute videos that you guys have been posting over the last couple days. So yeah, subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Just another reason to do that. All right, let's hit the beach, Andrew. Yep. Little beach stepping. Only place to go to read your emails and your tweets. Keep sending them in. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Or you can tweet them in at NoDunksInc, or you can leave them in the YouTube comments. All right, first one here. It's from Dave in YYC, but from YYZ. Dave from Calgary, but from Toronto. You know Dave. Hey, fellas. If teams decided to retire numbers for a reason besides a jersey, what are some possibilities that come to mind? For example, the Lakers maybe could retire number 81 to honor Kobe's incredible performance. Again, that's from Dave. It's a fun one, Lee. More creative reasons to retire a particular number related to a player than just the number they wore on their jersey. Anything come to mind?
Yeah, well, it's funny because this weekend there's a film coming out on the Jeremy Lin game against the Lakers in Madison Square Garden, 38 at the Mecca. So, that whole Linsanity period was, of course, a crazy time there. But I do think that is the game that probably stands out most. He was in the Garden there. The game winner against the Raptors, of course, was another big one.
I remember that.
That was huge.
But I think if you were, again, to retire it based on not this person's number, I think that's probably the one that Jeremy Lin would get there hanging in the rafters of Madison Square Garden. I looked at this question as well, rather than necessarily a reason. This is the Vince Carter, should the Raptors retire his jersey reason, because, they obviously, he was fantastic for the franchise, put them on the map there, but they did only win one playoff series with Vince. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to retire number one.
How about this? How about half on one jersey and then the other half on another jersey? A little half man, half amazing.
Yeah, okay, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the thing. What number would you associate with Vince outside of 15? There's not really
50. Dunk
50
contest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. But that my Jeremy Lin's my primary answer there anyway. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Tass? You got anything?
Oh yeah. How about retiring number 10 in Milwaukee to remember what fans were chanting at Giannis when he was at the free throw line in the 2022 playoffs?
Wow.
Now, it wouldn't just be a number 10 though. It would be, if you're looking at the banner, top row would be 1, 2, 3, second row 4, 5, 6, third row 7, 8, 9, and then the bottom a huge 10 exclamation point, and then a ring on the banner, 22 playoffs on the banner. I like that idea. I think it's a great one.
What about you, Trey?
Well, this is a great question because here's a little teaser. We got a video coming out a little bit later today. Lee trying to name the player of every Boston Celtics retired uniform. They've got a ton of them. I think I got 24 numbers or names up there. There's a Lasky up there. They'll throw a name. Who cares? So maybe you can throw a name up there. So stay tuned for that on our YouTube channel. I see a lot of people suggesting that the Cavs should retire number 31, 3-1. Pretty good. I can also see the Warriors at the end of Steph Curry's career retiring whatever number of three-pointers he ends up hitting. Currently at 31-17. They had the big jersey presentation with Reggie Miller, with Ray Allen all there holding the jersey with his number at the time on it. So maybe at the end of his career, who knows, he hits 5,500. Throw that up there. That was kind of the hallmark of this era of the Warriors and completely changed the game. So I could see that happening.
Oh, I like that one. Tass, you're the baseball guy here, so I got a question for you. Is it called Camden Yards where the Orioles play? Is it still called that? Yeah.
Maybe.
Do they have still that like the Cal Ripken number of games played up that they had for the longest time? Like when he set the record, it was like 2,131, I think, or something like that. But did they keep it going, and does it still stay up there? I guess is the question. Do you know?
I would think so.
Yeah. So if they did that or continued to do that with the Iron Man of baseball, let's do it for the NBA too. Mikal Bridges, I believe, is the current.
I think so. Yeah,
NBA
he hasn't missed
Iron
a game.
Man. Yeah, he's never missed a game in his career. He's only played like 4 years, but he's probably over 300 games at this point. So just as long as the streak keeps going, just keep updating it. Just a little ticker there.
So you want an active,
the current
Iron Man. You want him to throw up a 317, and then when he misses a game, you got to take down the banner.
Yeah. Exactly. Or if you want to go, like, who's the all-time? Is it AC Green?
I think it's AC Green, yeah.
Okay, well, then give AC Green.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Whatever he got up to, 900 or something?
Yeah.
What's the over-under? You want to set the over-under at 900?
For AC Green? Yeah. I think it's over, actually.
Yeah, I'll say over too. I'll say 935.
I was going to say 917.
Under 8 something.
Way over. 1192 consecutive games.
Put the banner up. Let's go.
Print it.
Wait, that was days without having sex, or that was...
he's way over 1,100 on that one, buddy.
He needs 2 banners to put all the numbers on that.
Obvious joke, didn't I? All right, so fun question for everybody. Let's hear your answers on that one. What do you got, Tess?
Hey, guys. I'm a proud owner of a No Dunks Grizz jersey, size L. Thank you for telling us your size. NFT number 5 of 34. I got it today, and it's amazing. Even though I had to pay a lot to get it into the Czech Republic, I got hit hard with the shipping, both the US and Czech VAT and customs, but still worth it. What is something you paid a lot for, but it was money well spent? Keep up the great work. That's from Andrew in the Czech Republic, and we do have a photo of Andrew rocking it with his. Look at that jersey.
Looks
Look at
incredible.
That jersey. And I think our first email from the Czech Republic ever,
wow.
which is pretty cool. So
You've heard of Andrew Schlecht? Now you've been Andrew checked.
Checked. Oh,
boom. It's been
good.
Yuri Welsh. I think he was from the Czech Republic. Let me check. Where was Jan Vesley? Jan Vesley was Czech as well.
Who knew?
Anyways, Trey, what's something you paid a lot for, but it was money well spent?
$36 on a lobster roll earlier this week. Make it $72 for 2 lobster rolls. Was it worth it? Yes, for the content. 100% for the content. Was it worth it as a $36 sandwich? Debatable. Lee, what do you think?
I'm still not sure if it was a sandwich or a roll because they sell them as lobster rolls. So, look, though, it was worth it. I was pleasantly surprised with just how much lobster we got in there.
That's good.
I've experienced other lobster rolls. That's why I made the $113 remark last week, because I've bought like lobster rolls for $20 that are like this big, tiny, and they've got a little bit of lobster in there. But Neptune's, man, they don't skimp on it. They load you up with lob. We were just
yeah, they do. They loaded us up. My other answer was going to be concert tickets. Like concert tickets, I think in the first place are expensive. And for me, when they come out, I'm like, I'm going to get as many as I can. I'll be able to get a friend to come with me. I'll be able to sell these at the time. Then, the time comes, one friend comes, you're holding 3 tickets. You got to sell them for a 75% discount on StubHub, which then just raises the price of your ticket. But sometimes it's still worth it for the experience, you know?
Sure.
Maybe you're paying 2x, 3x what you should have paid. At least you got the vibes.
It's so expensive. Every time I see a list of people coming to Atlanta, I go and check every single one. I go check the ticket availability. They're all crazy expensive, it feels like.
Yeah.
But would it be worth it? Probably.
Yeah, usually
yeah.
If you go and you spend a bunch of money, generally you're not leaving going, oh my God, that wasn't worth it. I mean, there's the odd instance, I'm sure, but most of the time you're like, that was awesome. I paid twice what I just paid for that.
Even going to see a live podcast these days, it's
Wow.
like going to see a concert. It's a lot of dough.
What was the last live podcast you've seen? Have you ever seen a live podcast besides our own?
Yeah, of course. Besides our own.
I saw
I've never seen our own.
I saw Jake from Jake and Amir. He's got that Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I went and watched that live just to support him. It was actually entertaining. I didn't know what was going on, but it was funny.
They're
That was
great.
a long time ago. Yeah. My answer for this, something you've paid a lot for, but it was money well spent. I can't believe I'm going to say this. And this is not an ad. They're not paying us anything. But get a good vacuum. And you will
Get a good vacuum.
not regret it. And look, you're going to pay some money, but the Dyson, man, the Cyclone, the V10 animal vacuum, it's legit. Especially if you have a dog. I mean, you got some hair in your home. This thing, it's engineered apparently for homes and pets. It's like $550. I would never have paid that. And we gotta I like using the vacuum. It's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's
like
so amazing.
They took the joy and the convenience and the ease and the straight suction power of a dustbuster, but made it for the whole house, right?
Totally.
You're not just cleaning up popcorn holes or Honey Nut Cheerios. You can use this on everything. We love Dyson so much in our house. We've got an upstairs Dyson and a downstairs Dyson.
God.
It's
Wow.
This thing sucks in a good way.
Yeah. Just the ease of being able to empty it too, in the
It's
trash
so
bin.
nice.
Hold on. Lee's got a joke. Lee's got a joke ready.
Man's got to have a vacuum cleaner.
Good.
I could feel it. I could feel it. Yeah. One thing I paid for it, and I didn't really like it at first, is having pest control services available at all times. Now, I don't like it for quote unquote bugs, interior bugs. I don't mind grabbing a shoe, grabbing a sandal, and smashing a bug every once in a while. But to have them on speed dial is nice, because yesterday after the show, got a text from somebody in our neighborhood saying there is a snake on my front porch eating a squirrel right now.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
What's
a big snake?
Yeah. And so Danielle and I shout to Danielle, she's home. I say, did you see that text? It's literally our direct neighbor. And so we go out, and now if you're squeamish, turn away, because on YouTube, I'm going to show a photo. Close your eyes.
Right.
I'm going to show a photo of a snake consuming a squirrle. Now, it's not live action, but it's like this.
Oh man!
A snake. His mouth is on the squirrel's head. Now, he strangled it to death, crushed the spine of the squirrel, and he's literally trying to consume the whole thing.
Crap.
And then there was a whole discussion in the neighborhood chat saying, "Oh, that's a black rat snake. It's not poisonous, and it's good for varmints. It gets your mice, it gets your rats." But the poor squirrel and people who have small dogs were worried. Because that squirrel was crushed. But anyways, I like the idea of a pest control ready to grab a stick and just push a snake away from your house. It's very nice.
So you have pest control. You did say that, right?
What's that?
You have pest control on speed dial? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what people say these days.
Wow.
I mean, I don't. I have to search for the number. Speed dial. What is speed dial anymore?
But you pay.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna opening my phone. I'm gonna hold 1, see what it calls. Voicemail. That's what it does.
But
2.
you pay a lot.
2 doesn't do crap.
You pay a lot of money, I guess, for the service, but you like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't do a lot, but it's security. It's security.
Security.
I saw somebody in the stream team say that is metal. That is a metal picture to just get in your neighborhood. That's like something you see on Animal Planet. I get excited when we see a snake in our backyard, but they're like 12 inches long, a centimeter thick or something like that. I don't know if I would be excited to see a rat snake just snacking on a squirrel, but we got a lot of them in our backyard. If you want to bring one over, catch you on speed dial. Hey, bring the snake.
Lee, do you have an answer for this?
Well, not anything as cool as that. I was just going to say it's really my big green egg, because I went in to buy just a grill plate for the old Weber, and I walked out with a $1,500 green egg. So, but it's been worth it. It's been great, cooking the pizzas and things like that on there for the boys. But haven't regretted that purchase. So that's my answer. But I haven't cooked any snake on there or any squirrels. So.
Okay, there's still time. Next one. Hey, champs. How awkward would it be if the Warriors win it all and are prepared to celebrate with champagne in the locker room, only to remember that Kuminga and Moody are under the age of 21? Would they have to celebrate with 0 alcohol replacement beverages or soda or even milk? This fascinating question is from Tyler in Brisbane, Australia there, and out on the coast of Queensland. Tass, what do you think from Tyler's question here? What are they doing in this situation?
Well, it's a good question, Tyler. I know Al Horford is going to down chocolate milk as soon as they win the championship, if they do. And he's an old man at 36, because this is from a recent article on The Athletic about Horford's journey. Quote, Al's sister Maria began to talk about the journey to the finals and her brother's future. His dad, Tito, knocked on a glass partition to get our attention. In his hand, he offered the Horford family's secret to health and wellness, a carton of chocolate milk. Horford doesn't do many ads, but he is known as a spokesperson for chocolate milk. It's a Horford family staple. We just all fucking love chocolate milk, Maria said.
Wow.
That's Al's idea of a stiff drink at the end of the day, Anna added. He doesn't like beer or wine. He'll occasionally have a glass of wine, but he's not big on liquor or stuff. So chocolate milk at the end of the day is what gets it done. And Jared Weiss with a great article there on The Athletic, getting to know the Horford family. And it ended with a glass of chocolate milk for everybody, or a carton of chocolate milk, I guess. And that's probably what they'll have in the Celtics locker room, being handed out to everybody, everybody drinking champagne. But Al's just there pushing cartons of chocolate milk on everybody.
Doesn't Klay Thompson love chocolate milk too?
Yeah, he
Man,
used to
this
be
is
the
the
guy
chocolate
for it,
milk
yeah.
finals.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right.
I hope they have chocolate milk in the locker room afterwards. Just pouring chocolate milk all over each other. That would be amazing. We
God.
just love chocolate milk. The whole family.
Lee, this can't be. I mean, if the Warriors, come back and win, this wouldn't be the first time we've had under 21-year-olds in the locker room, right? On a championship team. There's got to be others out
So.
there.
I mean, Andrew Bynum, what was he when they won in no, he was. Yeah, I can't think of it. A young player like that. But one way they can sort of get around this non-alcohol thing is to drink kombucha, because it's technically alcohol-free, but as it ferments, it sort of creates an alcohol content in there. So they would have to drink literally like thousands and thousands of gallons of it to get drunk. But in a way, they could do it without necessarily drinking the beer or the champagne or the wine. So if that's what they're into, I don't think anyone's going, just bring it, wheel in a crate of kombucha for me, boys. I'm getting hammered tonight.
I just checked. I think Tony Parker was 20 years old when the Spurs won in 03.
Right.
Taylor Horton Tucker for the Lakers 2020 bubble.
Here's
Maybe the
answer.
rules are different in the bubble.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
You can get away with anything in Disney World.
Yeah, something tells me the rules are different when you win a championship. No matter how old you are, you can have a glass of champagne or a beer or something. That's my gut reaction to
Darko
it.
Milicic, too, apparently.
Yeah, nice one by Andrew.
Darko, good one. Yeah. But I mean, look, international players that we're naming here, like Parker and Darko, they're drinking when they're like 13, man, 12. Yeah.
I mean, Tony Parker from France, he was having wine and taking it to school in his school lunch.
Not chocolate milk.
No.
I hate chocolate milk.
No. Great stuff, though, Tyler. Tass, we got one more, though, I think.
What's up, No Dunks? Or as my mom calls you, the basketball guys. The other day, I didn't have time to finish my daily No Dunks YouTube watch, so I saved it for the next one. The class I teach was doing some light work, so I asked if they wanted me to put a basketball podcast on the projector/speakers. They said sure, and we proceeded to watch the last third-ish of Wednesday's pod. I had already listened to your deep finals analysis, so during the time we listened in class, you guys discussed baseball, cricket, a bunch of movie franchises, and Paramount Plus. There was basically no basketball mention, and Skeets dropped 2 F-bombs. 10 of 10 educational experience for my students. It resulted in one of them explaining the rules of cricket to the rest of us, and me explaining the plot of Severance to them. I just wanted to thank you for providing some entertainment as we get toward the end of the school year and basketball season. And while I'm here, maybe you guys could hand out some end-of-year NBA yearbook superlatives. Thanks for all the entertainment. Turnips served with fries blossom. That's from Allison, a teacher in Florida.
Wow. That's ballsy. Putting on the podcast to the class. I respect it. Love it. But especially
Things get wild at the end of the school year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Apologies for the F-bombs, but I guess you said it was a 10 out of 10 learning experience. So, and we did talk about some random things there, and cricket got talked about, Lee. So that's great.
Yeah. Great to know there was obviously a student of cricket in the class there too. He was able to talk to the class about the rules of the many different forms of the game that we have. So I'm sure they found it as entertaining as you guys do when I talk a little cricket there.
And I like this. I like the superlatives idea. We could make that into its own podcast. I would think there, Taz. Maybe not today, but that could be something there.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to cut that out of the email, but I forgot to because Allison gave us a great idea for something else. And yeah, we talked about last week as well on our Beach Steppin' pod about additional awards the NBA could have. Something that's like, the most entertaining player or that kind of thing. We got another email from Backy that fits into that, as well as the superlatives. How about the biggest dog in him award, the BD award? Players would love voting on the biggest dog in him.
Yep.
Or the
have some dog in him.
Or the TBN award, that boy nice award. There's Yeah, that's a podcast right there.
Yeah, it definitely is. I love it. Well, thank you for the very funny email, Allison. I'd love to know that the future is in good hands with kids listening to the podcast here. How old were these kids? I guess that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, it wasn't
were they
mentioned.
high school kids, I would assume. Talking about severance.
I like to think 14 and plus. I think this is a PG-13 rated podcast in general.
I think you're right. Great stuff. Keep your questions coming. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in @NoDunksInc or drop them in the YouTube comments. We're going to take one more break, but we're not done here with this Friday drop. No, we got Tweet of the Night and we got Rapid Fire. We'll be right back. I am pumped to tell you all about the new Starbucks Baya energy drink because, well, I just had a new Starbucks Baya energy drink. Yeah, this morning. Oh, very tasty. Caffeine naturally found in coffee fruit. It's energy that's good. It's that good energy. Each 12-ounce, 90-calorie can contains 160 milligrams of caffeine and includes 3 delicious fruity flavors, each one similar to your favorite No Dunks podcaster. Oh. Listen to this breakdown. Eat your heart out, Mike Schmitz. This is comparison work here. AKOC, watch this. There's mango guava. That would be Lee. Because it sounds exotic.
Okay.
There's raspberry lime. Raspberry lime. That's Trey. Very sweet. But if you push his buttons, he's a little tart.
Nice. I like that.
Very well done.
And finally, Tess, your pineapple passion fruit.
Thanks.
Tough exterior. But once you crack it, this guy's the best. There you go.
What about you? They need a fourth flavor.
They don't have a fourth. But Starbucks Baya energy drink packs energy and flavor that gives me the boost when gearing up to watch the big basketball game, head to the Classic Factory here to podcast, or just bouncing around from meeting to meeting. Yeah, believe it or not, we have meetings when it comes to this show. I just literally booked a meeting for us tomorrow.
I saw that.
I added you. It's in your calendar.
I already clicked yes.
Okay, good. JD, you too, man. So you can't, don't have anything at 2 o'clock tomorrow. We have a meeting. Maybe have a Starbucks Baya energy drink.
Did you check my calendar?
I didn't. It's handy and always ready to boost my day as well as yours. Starbucks Baya energy drink is available online. It's at grocery stores, convenience stores, and gas stations nationwide.
It felt like summer yesterday. Hot weather, kids in the inflatable pool, Grateful Dead on the radio, and some Omaha steaks on the grill. Nice little Sunday. I thought I was a step ahead of the game for this ad read until I found out that I wasn't the only no-dunker getting busy on the grill with my Omaha steaks. Skeets, he'd already thrown down a filet mignon.
Yep.
JD was getting ready to barbecue some burgers.
Yeah, it was.
And Tass had seemingly already sampled all of the various meats.
No doubt.
In the Dad's Want Steaks package. He even tried the caramel apple tartlets. Oh, I don't know that we've ever been more prepared for an ad read. For just $99, the limited time Dad's Want Steaks package includes 16 mouth-watering entrees like smoky tender bacon-wrapped filet mignons, gourmet jumbo franks, and their air-chilled, boneless chicken breasts. And for a sweet finish, yeah, it's Gary's favorite, caramel apple tartlets.
A direct line to my heartlet. Those caramel apple tartlets. Never seen that word before, but I like it.
They're good.
Tarts to the hearts. But as a special gift for my listeners, when you type my listeners specifically, I asked for this promo code, Skeets.
Okay.
When you type No Dunks in the search bar and order the Dad's Want Steaks package, you'll also get 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers because I asked for them for you, Dads. Don't wait. Send Dad more than just a gift. Send him an experience he'll love and will likely share with you. Your dad's hooking you up with a steak or a frank, maybe even a tartlet. Go to omahasteaks.com and type No Dunks into the search bar. Order the Dad's Want Steaks package. You'll get 16 entrees, 4 desserts, plus 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Use my personal keyword, No Dunks.
All right, back with No Dunks here. Let's get to Tweet of the Night.
tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Trey Kirby, what do you got for us?
Oh, pretty simple tweet of the night. We don't even have the tweet part of it, Skeets. It comes from @NoDunksInc, one of the greatest Twitter follows on all of Twitter. It's just a picture. Me, Lee, and Marty from Broadsheet Coffee in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We went yesterday to go and see the entire facility. Marty's a longtime listener of the show, back to the TBJ days. And Lee, this was an awesome experience that we had, getting to see their entire operation from green beans, brown beans, to grinded beans, to final product. We got what I would consider literally a masterclass on coffee making. The depth of knowledge that Marty had, like the generosity and the passion with which he spoke about everything. Like, I don't know. We didn't know how long we were going to end up being there. We stayed for 2 hours because I couldn't stop asking questions about all of these various coffees. He let us try this crazy coffee that's like fermented with peaches. You smell it. It smells like peaches. You taste it. It tastes like peaches. I could not stop drinking this stuff.
Whoa.
We got done after the 2 hour, the 2 hours that we spent chatting with Marty, seeing everything they do. There's a video you can find on our YouTube page of Lee getting to pull an espresso shot from this ridiculously expensive espresso machine. Marty told us that he had the Tesla of roasters, the Tesla of air roasters. We're talking high-end stuff here. We're out on the street afterwards, and I'm like, Lee, this would be a great date. Like, this would be an awesome experience. Like, come with a loved one or somebody you're trying to impress. You're getting to do all this fun stuff, and that's when it dawned on me. I'm like, me and Lee Ellis just went on a coffee date. It was so much fun brewing and stewing and chatting it up with Marty. So big thanks to him for opening up Broadsheet for us. The beans were incredible tasks. We're going to be bringing some back for you. That's where this hat comes from.
Yeah, I like the hat.
Big blue Broadsheet hat here. Went from a tall greenie to a short bluey. Really, really fun times. So shout out to Marty. Shout out to Broadsheet Coffee.
Lee, where are you going?
Oh, he just remembered something.
Yeah, he's getting some beans, I believe. Yeah.
Here they are.
Yeah, let's see these beans. I can tell you, it was such an engrossing experience that I was like, even I'm not saying bag of beans this entire time.
Yeah.
Let's go to.
This is what's coming back into the factory here, Tassie. So
Can't wait.
My goodness me, there was some.
He can't wait, not you.
Yeah. These are some great ones here. I mean, the most incredible thing about the 2 hours in the coffee warehouse there is Trey Kirby has become an official coffee snob immediately. He's transformed. It's like in Superman 2 where he goes into the chamber and he loses all his power. Instead, Trey's now like, there's no way Trey's not going to be able to come back and just be able to sip coffee. He's going to smell it first.
Yeah.
He's going to do this little stirring thing that we did there yesterday. It was one of the most fun experiences we had here. And like Trey was saying, Marty knows absolutely everything about coffee. You think I'm pretentious about my coffee, Skeetsy? Wow. I'm now 10 times worse. I'm like, I won't even be allowed in a room if they're making some instant coffee or anything like that. I'm like, no, get that out. I can smell what's wrong with the coffee, not what's good about it.
Okay. Delicious. Green coffee beans. Hearing that weirds me out. But tasty, different taste, right?
Well, the green beans are before they're getting roasted. You're getting your beans shipped fresh. They definitely smell different. If you're a Q grader like Marty, the sommelier of the coffee world, you're able to tell the different vegetal smells of these green beans. Tass. He's like, this one smells like peas. This one smells more like green beans. I was like, they smell like vegetables. I do agree with that, but you got to have a solid nose to be able to pick up those notes. But it was really great. I could tell the change in me just from the 2 coffee orders I've had the past day. Yesterday, I ordered a coffee. They brought it out to me. This thing was like 1,000 ounces, as big as my head. Today, I ordered like the smallest coffee I could find. I'm doing all of the sniffs that Marty's teaching us. He taught us the way that a Q grader likes to sip their coffee to be able to get to get the aroma into their nose. You're not going to be like a gentle sip. You got to get violent. You got to get violent in there to get some stuff flowing up in your nasal cavities. I know the difference now between fragrance and aroma. I know what the break is. It was really incredible.
Wow. All right. I'm excited. You guys had your little coffee date there and got your dongles all that together later. We all fired up. No wonder you guys are talking with some energy today. Now it all makes sense too. You guys are pumped. You had all that coffee yesterday. That's awesome. Shout out to Marty for making that happen. And the coffee beans coming back, and you got the merch. And go check the video, like Tess said, of Lee pulling an espresso at the broadsheet there yesterday. It's really, really funny.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That was a great tagline after we'd spent an hour and a half there. Lee's, picking out each individual ground espresso bean. Finally gets it done with this gigantic, expensive machine. Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, that'll do. Basically the equivalent of that'll do.
Yeah, it was great.
My goodness. All right, great tweet of the night. I was hoping we would get something from your little excursion there. Let's end this drop podcast, though, with some rapid fire fun. TK, you got the questions. Myself, Tass, and Lee, we got the answers. Let's do it.
Yep, that's exactly right. We talked about it a little bit already, but after the Warriors' Game 3 loss, Draymond Green did a podcast where he said he would not stop podcasting, win, lose, or draw. Same with No Dunks. But, guys, I want to know, what's something you won't stop doing no matter what? Skeets.
Well, you guys said a man's got to have a dog. And when a man has a dog, he's got to post photos of that dog. And I will never stop posting cute little photos of my Luna bear sleeping. I'm going to be blasting these on my IG for the rest of time. It's just so damn cute. I can't help it. I've posted this photo 10 different times, but they're 10 different photos. It's just, her sleeping up there on the couch all cuddled up. So
I was going to say, did you get a new cover on your sofa?
No, we just changed the blanket. We washed the blanket.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
It's a little rotation. There's 3 or 4 blankets that find their way up there for her. But posting photos of my Luna bear. I won't stop doing it.
And you prefer, it seems, a sleeping or a cuddling photo to maybe an action shot.
I mean, I'll post all of them, but look how cute she is. Let's put it back on. It's so damn cute.
I do love when a dog smashes its head into something for no reason.
Yeah. So anyway, if you don't like that type of content, don't follow me on the social medias because there's a lot of that.
Internet's got to have its dog.
That's right.
Tassie, what you got?
Well, I'm going to post a photo of that snake eating a squirrel now, just so I lose some followers too, because I know nobody's going to like that. There it is. I'm not even putting it up. That's disgusting. Take that down.
God,
poor squirrel. All right. Something I won't stop doing. Every time I see my wife try and slip on a shoe that's a non-slip-on shoe, aka a shoe with laces, you gotta unlace and lace a shoe, or else you're breaking down the heel cap. You're just breaking it down. You're crushing the heel. And I will say that to her and then tell her that your shoe won't have the integrity. It won't support your foot anymore. And she'll show me that she can slip past crushing the heel by not, putting her weight on the heel. So, it's an argument of bull crap about semantics. So she's partially right. I'm partially right. But you don't slip on a non-slip-on shoe. Just don't do it. That's not how the shoe is supposed to be put up.
Do you think they should start making shoes with floppy heel caps to make them more slip-onable?
Well, that's a slip-on shoe, I guess.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I guess they do make those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they have
shoes.
Yeah.
I always think it looks crazy when somebody has just given up on the concept of the heel cap and they're like, I'm just going to smash it down. It doesn't exist to me anymore. It's the insole of the shoe. That looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, just crushing it.
Crush it. Completely flattened out. Lee, what you got? Something won't stop doing no matter what.
We didn't sort of play basketball there for a couple of years, and now we're back, we're playing, and it's just great. It sort of reinvigorates you a bit, and you're like, you forget how much you miss it. And Nate Jones, our friend, he tweeted recently because he was out shooting around, and he said, man, I'm going to hoop until I can hoop no more, until the wheels fall off. I'm going to keep on hooping. I feel exactly the same way, man. Until I can't walk, until I can't move, I'm just going to keep on playing. It's just great. I mean, that's the thing when you realize just how much you enjoy doing something and you miss it. When you get it back, you're like, right, I'm not taking this for granted anymore. I'm going to go out there and play every time I can. So I'll be playing until I'm hopefully 75 at least.
Wow, that's a That's quite a few more
Pretty old.
years. 75. Yeah, I don't.
That's like 3 years from now for you.
Zingers, love zingers. All right, during a delicious game of Market Price is Right, Lee and I found out that Neptune oyster bars lobster rolls go for $36 each. Still debatable if it was worth it, but fellas, what's the most you've ever spent on a sandwich? Skeets.
This is a very difficult question, but I honestly think I'm not taking the easy way out here. I think the answer is the lobster roll from Neptune's oyster bar. Probably back in 2000. What was it? 11? Is that when I was there with you guys? Yeah, 2011. Now I'm sure it maybe wasn't as much. Maybe the market price could have been different, but I'm guessing it was around the same price. And I can't remember spending $30 plus on any other sandwich over the last decade plus. So I'm going with Neptune oyster bars lobster roll.
It would be great to be able to pull one of the receipts from that trip to just see what the difference is over the course of 11 years. I mean, we've got a lot of shipping concerns these days, inflation. Yep. What's it doing to the lobster market out there? Jeez. Only time will tell. Tass, what about you? You ever spent more than $36 on a sandwich?
Absolutely not. But I went to a Subway recently, a quaint little Subway sandwich shop. You'd assume you're spending max $10 to me, Yeah. I got a tiny sandwich, whatever the small size is called, the small one. And I get to the cashier and it's $11. And I say, that's a lot. Now I did double up the tuna because that's a light. One scoop of tuna is not enough tuna. And the person said
3 scoops is too much tuna.
That's too much tuna. Yeah. I was trying to get there, but $11 just felt like a lot of money for a Subway sandwich.
For a 6-inch Subway sandwich. Yeah.
Inflation, as you said, Trey. You don't have to import. There's no shipping with the tuna. They just go out back into the river and get the tuna. $11 felt like a lot.
Wait, was that coming with the chips or cookies?
No, just a sandwich.
Wow, just sandwich.
That's okay. That's too much.
Yeah. Everything's gone up.
They'd be like $20 probably. That's crazy, man. That's an expensive Subway sandwich. I think an $11 Subway sandwich is less value than a $36 lobster roll, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Lee, you ever spent more than $36 on a sandwich?
No, I mean, I guess the answer officially is the lobster roll, but I did come up with another answer where I got the least value of a sandwich. It was on one of those flights, Ryanair or EasyJet in Europe, where, you only basically you pay for your seat and that's all you get. You got to pay for everything else. So they come through the alley and they're like, you want anything to eat? I was like, sure, I'll have a sandwich. I took one bite of the sandwich and it was like then put into the seat pocket in front of me because it was just so disgustingly tasteless. And because it was on an airplane like that, I spent probably $12 on one bite and I didn't even swallow that bite. It was like, oh, no thanks. So
couldn't even let it touch your intestines.
$12 for an unswallowed bite of a sandwich is the least value I've ever got of a sandwich.
Lee, I have a question. How much money did you spend on that one Subway sandwich that you used for gym equipment? That's a giant sandwich.
That's
a hot Bobby.
That's a hot Bobby right there. Yeah. Wow,
they were affordable, actually. I think.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, worth it too. I mean, great hot Bobby there. Maybe we'll have to redo that video in a couple of weeks when we're out in Vegas.
Very possible.
Let's definitely do that. What a callback! Lifting a hot Bobby, people would love it. Anyways, Lee and I bet. Oh, go ahead, Lee.
I've still got that same shirt, so I'll pack that one and we can.
Nice. Shot for shot remake, just like you watching the new Scream. It'll be much the same. Anyways, Lee and I have been here in Boston for a few days now, and we can't stop calling the city Beantown. Meanwhile, all of the locals here keep telling us that no one calls it Beantown. Skeets, what's a nickname that you don't like?
Well, Lee came up with it yesterday when he said Paul McCartney's nickname is PMAC. I mean, hilarious Photoshop we got out of it, but I don't think we're going to be calling Paul McCartney PMAC from here on out. So, I'll go with the most recent weird nickname I've heard, but I just wanted to give a reason to show that photo. Yeah.
Does Paul McCartney have a nickname? Do they call him Macca or something like that?
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah. Not PMAC, though.
No, definitely not PMAC.
Tass, you got a nickname you don't like?
Well, personally, for me, some guy when I was young called me Toolbox because he couldn't say Tassos, and I hate that guy. So that one really pisses me off. But it's not that hard. People turn Tassos into tassels, and that's kind of funny. But Toolbox is just annoying. Luka Doncic, though, as I've said before, every nickname he has, terrible. The Matador, El Matador, Cool Hand, the Don, Wonder Boy, El Nino Maravilla, Swaggy L, Luka Legend, Too Easy, Luka Magic. Look, like I named 10 there, and they're not anywhere close to being as good as Luka. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
What about
yeah.
the donk? The
Yeah,
donk
the
wasn't
donk.
on there.
It
Yeah,
didn't make the list. Wow. Crazy.
didn't make the list.
Very surprising.
I think it's just a typo because there is the Don. They just screwed up.
I forgot the C or the K, however you want to spell it. What about you, Lily? Take us home.
Yeah, look, I'm just disappointed the Donk hasn't taken off more, really. I mean, I think it's a perfect nickname for him. So I know Maria Taylor used it once on Game Time or on, what is that, Countdown. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm getting some traction here, but nothing. But no, look, I haven't had really too many nicknames over the years. Leroy, Lethal. I'm fine with those ones.
Just casually throws them in
Never
there.
mentioned that before. You're trying
Yeah.
to get it to catch on, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't mind that one. You know, I'm a knockdown shooter.
So I think it's more when people just really struggle to pronounce my name. Like we got in an Uber just yesterday, and it was like a league. Yeah, close enough. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I've had that a few times where people just really, I don't know. I guess they're just used to the LEE version.
Yeah.
And, outside of that, they just don't know how to pronounce it. So I've just more accepted as like if you get the Lee and then whatever you add on to the rest of it, I'm fine with it. That's just Lee. That's fine. That's all you need to say.
All right. Well, that's rapid fire. That's the Drop Podcast. We'll call it there. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. Trey already teased another video coming your way this afternoon. Tonight, join the No Dunks podcast live on YouTube, and then it gets flipped into a podcast immediately following Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Come hang out in the stream team and weigh in on the game as soon as it's wrapped up. Subscribe to No Dunks. Hit that little notification button so you know when we're going live. And get yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/No Dunks. Andrew, my man, thank you as always for filling in for JD, especially when you had a podcast already at 6 a.m. this morning. I'm going to have to go listen to that one.
Yeah, glad to. Hey, listen to the Slam and Jam. We got Jake Fisher on tomorrow.
Oh,
We're talking
nice.
rumors. We're talking NBA
Oh,
slop rumors.
Nice. Hold on. I think I saw a tweet that Trey Kirby was also going on Jeff Fisher's podcast.
Yeah,
that
that's
right?
exactly right. I'm doing that 4 o'clock today. 4 o'clock Eastern. I think I'm going live with Jake Fisher.
We had to schedule around your podcast.
Oh,
Oh.
it's a podcast battle here.
Jeff Fisher, as in former Titans coach. Jeff Fisher.
Is that what I said?
He's got a pod? Yeah.
Yeah, you're going on
Oh,
with
yeah.
Jeff
I
Fisher.
listen to so many podcasts. I listen to
You're listening to Jeff Fisher's
Jeff
podcast.
Fisher's,
Sicko.
Derek Fisher's, man. I listen to them all, man.
Damn.
All right, well, Slam and Jam. Make sure you listen to that. Try and catch Trey on Jake, not Jeff Fisher's podcast later today. And again, join us tonight following Game 4 of the NBA Finals. And we'll see you on the weekend when we see you, and then we'll see you back in the Classic Factory come Monday. Because I guess the Beantown boys are heading back this weekend, obviously. Is that
Early
correct?
tomorrow.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy the game tonight. We will talk to you on the stream a little bit later. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it. You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Lee's best nickname is E-Dog. What about that?
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, lethal Leroy also works. Brace the day, people.
You could stay